Hello and welcome to DDoCast episode 544, recorded live on Sunday, January 6th. I'm your host, Patrick. Just doing the news again by myself, because really, this is going to be 15 minutes, maybe, if I stretch it a lot. Anyways, this week's screenshot, there is no screenshot of the week this week. Yeah, this is how low the news is this week. There is not even a screenshot of the week. This is just a shot of Three Barrel Cove that I took myself. We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online nearly every week. You can watch us through Twitch, YouTube, the DDO forums, iTunes, or from our website, ddocast.com. DDoCast is hosted by Cyber Ears, the awesome podcast hosting network. Shows are usually available within a few days of recording. The next show will probably be next weekend. You can stay updated by following us on our social media pages or our website, ddocast.com, with our calendar. So game news. We'll hit that. The only thing of note, there is a buyback performance issue. So what is buyback? If you sell something, or whatever you sell, or even just throw it in the trash and delete it, there's a buyback feature that you can buy that stuff back later. Currently, there is a problem with performance related to that. So they need to correct that in an upcoming patch. In the meantime, they intend to clear the buyback tables during the weekly restart. So hopefully kind of help keep some of that a little better off. There you go. That's the news. Bonus days, Champion Hunter Week through Thursday. There's also store sales. Customize your campaign. Get 25% off of select adventure packs, monster manuals, attack spells, sentient, and jeweler's toolkits through January 10th as well. The weekly coupon gives you a lasting potion of resist fire plus 10 times 10 with the coupon code FIRE, RES, or short for fire resist. Hey, at least they're giving you 10 of these things if you use them at all. So there you go. Like I said, not a lot of news this week. But in any case, we can talk about community news. There was a Chronicle, the 315th Chronicle. You can join Community Spotlights. You can join the Waterdeep Dwarves and One Drows. They invade D&D night on DDO Stream. Take on a Mind Flayer, a City Watch Captain, a Halfling Bureaucrat, and a Lost Kitten. Yeah, it's a fun episode. So this is the bonus D&D night, or typically the bonus D&D night. Hey, December had 5 Sundays, and we do D&D night every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And since usually we kind of have this 4-week rotation, we needed a 5th week. So the bonus D&D night guys took that on. So we're very thankful for them. The High Lords of Malkir are also they hosted a Legendary Shroud teaching raid on Saturday, January 5th. They are going to be continuing to do teaching raids. They will usually be probably 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays, and they're going to go through. Usually, they go through every one of these raids twice. So we'll go probably into June, is what I'm hearing. So and they stream this live, so you can check that out live as well, if you would like to see them live, or Voodoo posts them on his YouTube page as well. The Comment Leak. What is one of your goals for 2019? I don't know. Maybe try to pick up my TR pace. Let's say I want to get maybe at least one reincarnation a month. Although even at that rate, I'll probably fall far short of where I would like to be with one of my characters. But there you go. Reincarnate more frequently and more often. And I know this kind of pains me because I'm not really big into TRing. But in any case, got some goals. Guild for the week. The High Keepers of Peace is a guild on the Sirloin server that welcomes all people, accepting any amount of experience. They don't require anybody to have expansion packs or extra content. The guild is open to anyone who would like to join. They'd love to hear from you if you're interested, so you can check them out through the Chronicle. The fan site news. We got a shout out for DDoCast 543. That was our last part of Killing Time. So hopefully you enjoyed our walkthrough of Killing Time. You can also check out Ginger Spice's weekend videos, including a pair of live stream R10s on his Warlock. Enrique had a blog. He's back. He's been gone for a little while, but he's back vlogging. He said, what brought Archaix to Korthos Island? You can also check out FreeDO episode 12, The Mini Bathrooms of Stormreach with Psycho Blonde. There's a surprising number, actually. I can think of a few off the top of my head. Let's see. Fridays on Ice had episode 108, which Batch Lagore. Bard Life with Doug Glendower also had an episode, as did DDO Sunday with Alex and Lynn. Streaming with Even episode 82, House of Yarlin Quests. And DDO PL, folks, welcome to the new year on Argo. Also came out. So DDO Players News has a new time. They are now coming out with their live show Thursday nights. So they just had their show right after the Chronicle actually went out. And then they are releasing their new episodes on Friday. Drac, good luck with the editing. Pro tip, do as little as possible. It's been my strategy for years. Any case, also a new time, the Damsels of DDO have a new stream time as well. They're going to be streaming at midnight Eastern on Saturdays now. I believe that is for their actual kind of run. I'm not sure when they're going to be doing the podcast, but when they're going to actually play, I believe is that time frame. Let's see. D&D news. DDO Kasplat will be back this Tuesday. We've been off for the holidays because Christmas and New Year's just fell on a Tuesday, which is our normal night. But you can catch us Tuesdays, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Group of us playing. I'm not really sure where we're going next, but we'll be doing a lot more epic stuff, I am sure. Also, D&D night on DDO stream. D&D Kasplat will be this next weekend, January 13th. So we can see the party continuing to escort the mysterious merchant and see if they can kind of figure out what's going on there and maybe take back an outpost that has been captured by goblins. Maybe they'll survive. I haven't killed anyone yet, not for lack of trying, but I haven't killed anyone yet. But you can tune into that. It's on twitch.tv/DDO stream. That is, and then again, there's a rotating group of people. So we've got a show for you every week at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays. And there you go. That's the gaming news. Like I said, not a lot going on. So thanks for listening to the show. Thanks to the folks that are contributing to DDO Cast. Thanks to Standing Stone Games and Wizards of the Coast. And thanks to Cyberridge for hosting the podcast. If you'd like to support the show, you can head to our website, ddocast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. If you have a DDO-themed webpage or you Twitch DDO, you'd like to be featured on our website, email me, ddocast@gmail.com. I'd love to feature you on the website. I'd like to let folks know how to watch you play DDO. You can also hit us up at ddocast.com for show notes, MP3s, our calendar, previous shows, and other fun stuff. If you'd like to be a part of the show, if you have a comment on this episode or a question you'd like to hear us answer, there's a topic you'd like to hear us discuss, or you just want to say hi, email us, ddocast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media and follow us for the latest cast updates at ddocast on Twitter. So now, I didn't preview this at the beginning of the show like I usually do, but what we have is next is the our beginning of our 2018 year in review. So we got a lot of guests in this. Something we like to do every year, just kind of go through the year, take a look at stuff. This will be the first of 3 parts. Hope that you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. All right, welcome. We are talking about 2018, our year in review episode here, part 1. I'm your host, Patrick. With me this week, we have a host of guests here. I always like to kind of like stack up who we've got here. Apologies, we're not going to have cameras on everyone else just because the screen sharing and all the too much screeny stuff going on. Anyways, so our guests, we'll start with Arcot. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
We also have the High Lords in the house tonight. We've got Voodoo Spice.
Hey everyone, it's better that I'm not on camera today.
Maybe. We've got Nimvind.
Hello.
We also have Terralyn.
Yeah.
So welcome back, everyone. 2018, pretty big year. We're just going to start by kind of giving our impressions of the year, kind of a bigger picture. Then what we'll do is we'll kind of go through and talk about the different parts of the year and how things have kind of played out. And we had a lot of changes, and we'll go through that. So we'll just kind of go around the horn. Terralyn, give us your first impressions, big picture. What do you think about 2018 for DDO? What stands out for you?
I think the positive response to Ravenloft, positive enough that they're speeding into another expansion coming up in 2019, especially when under the old WB regime, expansions were slow, if not non-existent, especially after Shadowfell flop.
Sure. Voodoo, what about you? What stands out to you this year?
You know, I think Ina nailed it right on the head. Was surprised to get that last expansion, and surprised again to get another one so quickly. Really happy in the positive response, and
Sure. Nimvind, What about you?
The expansion was great. I personally love the updates. I feel like the team that SSG has together is fantastic. I felt like a couple updates they updated some old contents gear, and they added some new stuff. Like, they're just busy. I just love how productive this year has been for SSG and DDO in general.
And Arca, what about you?
I think this is the single best year that DDO has ever had. Ravenloft was the end of last year, but it's still immensely popular. The raid killing time is an outstanding raid. I liked the Corvair shipment for obvious reasons, and White Plume Mountain was outstanding as well. So they did some really, really good stuff. They made some really, really good changes. The one notable exception that I was disappointed with, and I think you're probably going to guess this as well, but there's the monk melee power nerfs and the dice nerfs. If they could have just waited and acted a little more rationally with that, I think this would have been an absolutely perfect year.
Sure. The thing that it's funny that we keep bringing up Ravenloft, because it actually was 2017 when it came out, when we did talk about it in our year in review show last year. But that was very much we like this so far. We'll see how it kind of continues and goes, and because it was just out in middle of 2017, I think, of December. So it was only out for a couple of years. But the thing that kind of stood out to me after I kind of mapped out the show notes and stuff like that is there was a lot of enhancement work this year, a lot of class work and working on those, and we'll kind of go through that. But I think other than fighter and paladin, I think almost every class got touched. Maybe not rogue too. There are a lot of classes that got touched. Now, granted, monks not in a positive way, but there's a lot of things that got added in an enhancement point of view, and kind of class tweaking, which was a lot of really kind of interesting to look at. Okay, so let's start going through. So let's go back to Ravenloft, because even though it was technically 2017, it was, like we said, the end of 2017, basically right before the holidays. So we've gotten a little more time with Ravenloft. I don't feel like it's going to be too much to go out on a limb here to say that probably the best expansion we've ever had. given that, I mean, there's only 2 other ones to choose from. But perhaps, I think you could also say, I mean, it's possibly one of the best quest chains. It's probably one of the best kind of just atmosphere zone areas. I mean, this is probably one of the best contents we've ever gotten, right?
Absolutely. The loot was also awesome.
Sure.
That Slayer zone is so massive and so beautiful.
It's creepy too. It was
And
one of the things that
I
always
have
struck out to
noticed
me with
something.
with Ravenloft was that like it really captured kind of that horror theme. I thought really well. So
yes, and something else caught my eye too. Between Ravenloft, White Plume, which we'll get to later probably, along with stuff like Slave Lords and Temple Elemental Evil, they knock it out of the park when it comes to adapting some of the original D&D stuff.
yeah, absolutely.
I feel it helps that a lot of the original D&D stuff have maps and like encounters in the rooms and stuff like that too. It helps, like they don't have to create it. It's there laid out, you know.
But the interpretation's always really spot on. I feel like Temple of Mental Evil, like there's a couple of like just the way that they structured the mobs and stuff like that. It gets a little tedious, I think. But visually and the
Yes.
layout is really good, and the kind of the interpretation of that content. Not that I've actually played any of that content in pen and paper, but
The layout and story, definitely.
see the one kind of nitpick I've come to grow on of Ravenloft though is you can't turn in your runes for Strahd unless you flag for the raid. Which is
Yeah, exactly. That little invisible
yeah,
chalice is over his head, and you can't talk to him until you're.
he's
flagged.
not even there.
Oh, that's right.
He's not
You're
even
right.
there to
He's
talk
not
to.
there. You're right.
You also
Absolutely.
can't be on the quest to turn in those runes either, which is a little bit annoying. But Voodoo, what about you? Anything you want to say about Ravenloft?
You know, as far as flavor goes, it's not my personal favorite, but I do recognize that they did an excellent job, so I give them full marks.
And we're still playing it. It's still, I mean, if of all the kind of quests to choose from in Endgame, I feel like Ravenloft is probably still getting the most playtime. Even though we did add some quests in here as well. So, okay, update 38, which is the first update in 2018 proper. Age of Rage. So this is the one in House Drasco. I think this came out around. I didn't write down when these came out, but I think it came out in like Marchish, maybe April. Early in the year. We got 5 quests. We got the Renegade Mastermaker tree, the Druid Pass, the aforementioned Monk nerfs. Epic Destinies got their melee power increased. And Daily Dice saw a really big restructure, and we got some new items and stuff like that. So let's talk about the quest, Age of Rage. If you just want to go freeform here as well, that's fine. But so what do you guys think about Age of Rage and kind of the stuff that this brought us?
I'm really impressed by the fact that we had an update with 5 quests. If you go to the update before Ravenloft, there's another update with 5 quests. So this is the second update in a row, aside from the expansion, that has 5. And we haven't had that in many years. So that to me alone is really impressive. And then the next update as well is 5. So we had 3 updates in a row. 2 of them this year with 5 quests, and I think that is awesome. I'm actually a big fan of this update. You had the Druid Pass, you had the 5 quests. I enjoyed all the quests. I think some of them are beautiful, but again, it really stands out in my mind that we had 3 updates in a row with 5 quests in them. That's really awesome.
The one before that had 3 quests too, or 2 quests in a raid.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good chain. I like the fact that it ties in some of the prior content. It shows that there's actually some commitment to tying up some of those loose ends from a narrative standpoint.
Of course,
I
on the
like
flip
the
side
fact-
of that, they gave us a nice hanger at
Yeah.
the end of Age of Rage that they haven't wrapped up yet either. So
Well, I think they'll probably wrap that up with the new expansion, the Sharn expansion. So I think I think I liked that 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 hook at the at the end. I think that sets off the new Sharn stuff quite nicely.
I like that we brought up the story because that's kind of what I like about it is that I feel like there's a lot of quests in this game where if you read the text dialogue, you understand what you're doing in this dungeon, but without even reading, you actually get the storyline. Like there's a lot of narration, there's a lot of like story guiding, so I know exactly. Like I actually have a commitment attachment to these quests rather than like save your friends. Like I don't know these guys in Wayloon. Why are they my friends? Why do I care if I do this optional one of them dies? Like there's just no story tie-in. Well, this chain, there's a story tie-in. There's helmets which Ravenloft was missing, and just everything was there. This was a good update.
Yeah.
It's a very good update from that standpoint, and not even like Voodoo was saying, the Druid Pass was really needed, not just to help out the elemental druids a bit, make them a little more stable, a little more focused, not having to shift the seasons around and all that, but also giving wolves and bears a overhaul, making wolves usable without abusing game mechanics and bears usable at all.
I like the extra melee power in the Shadow Dancer tree. That 10 melee power per core really helped out a lot of rogues.
Sure.
I love that too. Playing a melee doesn't feel like if you're not in LD, you're getting.
Yeah. Mr. Voodoo, what did you think about the kind of the Druid Pass? As the resident
I like
Druid
the
expert.
changes. I really like the changes that were made. The Druid Pass, of course, was long overdue, and I'm really speaking from a caster Druid standpoint. I don't play melees, so I can't really speak to the bear and wolf tree. I do love the fact that there was some low-hanging fruit in the bear tree that the other trees can pretty easily take advantage of and really benefit from. I really like the fact that there was some nice druid gear added to update 38, in addition to the fact that the enhancements were changed. I wish they had done a little bit more. I do think that like caster druids, for example, they're just light years away from being overpowered. So I think there was room to do a little bit more without making them overpowered and to make them a little bit more appealing. So I think at the end of the day, people who love druid casters like me are going to be very happy with the changes. But there wasn't enough done to like win over any new fans of caster druid, for example. So I would have liked to see them do a little bit more, but happy with the work that was done.
Sure. Yeah, the Druid Pass. Unfortunately, my Druid is one of the ones that kind of got fell off the wayside a little bit before this, but I did play him a little bit, and it definitely helped a lot because it was a wolf druid. And you have seen a lot more kind of wolf druids kind of creep out, and some kind of splashy builds and stuff like that as well. So that's worked out really well, I think. And like you said, you see bears now. Oh my gosh, bears!
Bears.
I still don't see a lot of bears. I mean, I see more than I have in the past, but when they changed that enhancement, at first on Lamania for this particular update, you could use a two-handed weapon and still get the full benefit of all the hit points and so forth. And then they made the change and made it so you had to also use a shield, and that really turned me off to that particular that particular change for druids.
I also kind of thought that was silly because they introduced a falchion version of the scimitar in the end quest of Age of Rage, which implies, sorry about that noise in the background, that they were like, hey, for those two-handed fighters. And I also thought it was funny that Insightful Wisdom didn't have like an Insightful 8 or whatever the highest Insightful is, and then they released a heavy armor that so not all the wisdom based tunes can max out their wisdom unless they're heavy plate arm users.
Warren, welcome really quick. Hephaestus has joined us. Welcome.
Hey guys.
So
Yep.
Sorry, I'm late.
that's okay. Just talking about update 38 here. Let's see. So the other part. So we talked about Druid Pass. I think the other thing out of here. This may be one of the biggest functional changes in terms of building that we've had in a long time. The Renegade Mastermaker tree. Because this tree has just completely revolutionized tank builds.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So somewhat to my chagrin, because as Arcot was actually asking me about my tank build, and he called my tank an artificer, which technically is true, but I still think of him as my paladin because he's supposed to be my paladin. But now he's got 3 times as many or 4 times as many artificer levels as he does paladin levels. But it completely changed the map of tanks these days, right?
Stacking bonuses are always good. What I like about the Artie Pass, though, is kind of understated. By consolidating the repair feats for flushies, self-forged Arties are actually somewhat viable now.
Sure.
Oh yeah. I really like that feat they changed to the one you can take in Epic's Construct Exemplar. MRR is a nice bonus, but yeah, the repair amp, makes it more sources of an amplification will really help make a type viable.
Anyone else want to talk about Renegade Mastermaker tree while I on the fly crop in everybody?
I love the repair bonuses of the Mastermaker tree, not just helping you self-forged or the Warforge or Blade Forge Artificer, but Converter. You can actually use an Artie as a backup tank healer or something similar to that.
Yeah, it's definitely gives you a lot more options. I was playing a lot with Converter and then found that I just wasn't using it, and I needed my action points were so tight on my tank that I needed to have that kind of that extra. What do I want to say? That extra point really helped in a lot of ways. But it was really helpful. My tank got an extra 4,000. Well, not 4,000, extra 2,000 hit points out of Renegade Mastermaker tree just because of the stacking racial action point hit point thing, and just kind of some of that other stuff that's in there. So it's a big change when it comes to tanks and stuff. So there you go. A lot of stuff when it came to that. So
Yeah.
Right. Anything else you want to say about update 38 here before we?
And the Battle Fist attack is so much fun.
Is it? I have not played with this because
it's really fun. Yeah.
This is the one that has the slam effect or something like that.
Yeah. Especially if you can get a double strike proc. It sounds like your eardrums are exploding, but in a good way.
The last thing in the update was the daily dice, and while it feels like an afterthought, it helps so much. It varies the results. It makes it actually exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's see. Let's what we'll do is we'll cut this segment here, and we'll be back next week to continue talking about update 28. So we'll kind of wrap this up. I do want to give people a little bit of shout outs here because I know High Lords is starting their new this year's teaching raids, right?
That is correct. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern is the inaugural teaching raid of the 2019 season. And every week we're going to be doing a different raid throughout the winter and spring. I'll be posting details in the Sarlona forum. If you're on Sarlona and you're newer to raiding, or even if you're new to some other raids, whether you're new to the game or you're a longtime player that's been avoiding raiding, this is a very special opportunity to learn how these raids work in a very low stress learning environment where we focus on teaching you the mechanics of the raid. Tonight is Legendary Shroud. We always start the season with DDO's classic raid. And if you're interested in signing up, just send me a mail on Voodoo or Ginger Spice on Saralona.
Can't wait till you guys get to killing time. That'll be fun. Bring people
No
in.
sweat.
All right. So thanks for listening. Join us next time. We'll be continuing this discussion. I want to thank my guests here, Arcot, Terrelin, Nimvind, Voodoo, and Hephaestus. If you'd like to support the show, you can visit our website, didocast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. You can also find show notes, past shows, and more on our website, didocast.com. You can find me on Twitter at didocast. If you'd like to join the discussion, you can leave a comment. You can email us, didocast@gmail.com. Until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chest level appropriate. Have fun, and don't forget to gather for buffs.